Hi, this is Mweni and you're watching Culture Talk.
Hi, Mweni. How are you?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty decent, man. Welcome to LSK Masidi.
Yay!
So this has been a collab. We've been trying to collaborate for time, and I know. Here we are.
Finally.
Finally. Amen. You see, energy. Energy doesn't lie. Exactly. So, how was your trip? First of all, obviously, Mweni's not from here, guys, but
Yeah, wouldn't want to be from here. But they would hate me. But it was alright. It was pretty interesting. I think
how'd you get here?
by bus.
Was that long?
6 hours. 7.
What'd you do on the bus? Listen to music? Or?
No, I was with my best friend. So she
Aw.
slept on my lap and I was just
Hello.
patting her hair.
Okay.
That's
like
all.
a little cat. Right?
Or just a person.
You pat people's heads?
Okay. Yeah, my people. Not,
Mom friend, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, cute. So, for those who don't really know what you do or why you're relevant or why you're here, could you please explain a little bit of what keeps Mweni busy?
Okay. What I do, I write,
Ooh,
I perform,
hello.
spoken word. I host a podcast
Hey.
like you, except it's not on video. I used to act.
Really?
So since I'm here, plug me, give me a role.
Okay, can I give you this role? How about you play excited?
I'm so
Yeah.
happy to be here. But that makes it seem like I'm not really excited to be here. But
Aren't you? Are you?
I'm thrilled actually. It's been a long time coming. How many years? Like 1.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, I'm very
Mweni,
happy to
you get us in
be.
trouble. At how many years?
I mean, it's been a minute.
It has. I'm glad you came through though.
Happy you invited me.
Pleasure. So, walk us through the podcast. What inspired that?
Oh, okay. So Learn My Name
Yeah.
is my baby, my podcast. I started Learn My Name last year, I think January. And it was just because I loved listening to podcasts and I found like 3 Zambian podcasts. And honestly, just felt more relatable when it was Zambian.
I feel
I don't
you.
know if you feel me.
100%.
Yeah. So I was in a very tough place
Yeah.
then. And so I just wanted like a medium to kind of express myself and share my journey and look back and just be like, God did that. And I did that.
That's beautiful.
And just like encourage other people going through the same, I guess. Yeah.
Some beautiful stuff there. And what topics have you spoken about on the podcast?
Ooh, quite a number. So I think I should have answered this, but Learn My Name kind of isn't necessarily literally learn my name. So the main essence is to learn people's stories, who they are, what they do, what they don't do, who they are not. And so the first one was basically just me sharing that I was depressed. So it was just introducing people to me and other people introducing themselves to me virtually. And then after, I started inviting other people so I could just like share ideas and different perspectives. So far we've talked about so much: grief, relationships, God, especially.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, I'm a believer. If I didn't say, forgive me. So everything is centered around God. If you're not a believer, don't click off. Watch me still.
Sis.
Watch me still. Like just a lot of people's stories, so it's not necessarily limited to like one topic. It's like here, because I'm a whole person, it might cover different aspects, but just trying to live life together, I guess.
And do you have a favorite episode on your podcast?
A favorite, That's going to make me seem biased.
But they're all good. Come on, I'm sure there's one which probably.
I'm trying to remember because there are so many. Not necessarily a favorite,
Yeah.
but the one I would go back and listen to right now would be a conversation on purpose
Right.
with Kalua Belete. Because I'm constantly asking myself if I have one purpose and if I have figured it out, and I find answers there. Not all, but most of the answers. So that
Okay.
would be the one.
I like that. So, talking about purpose, is there a purpose behind what you're doing? You think you're trying to fulfill that? Or is that how you finding it?
I think, I don't know. I don't think you find answers and it ends there. I think you're constantly learning and searching. So it goes and goes on and on. But there's definitely a purpose. Everything has a purpose. The useful ones and the useless ones.
And the purpose behind your poetry, what's that about?
Right now, when I started, it was just to feel something, I guess, and to just let stuff out. Right now, it's just to share my story and the gospel. That's all. And like when you listen to me, I really hope if you don't learn something about yourself or if you're not encouraged in a way, you go back and you search for God within you.
You also mentioned acting.
Yeah.
So to walk us through that then.
It was just in high school, it's nothing deep.
No, man,
But
what acting
before-
experience do you have?
Before the poetry, I always just wanted to act because I always felt like I had different personalities. So I thought I could channel that. And
Like personalities like mental sickness?
Nah. Like with you here,
Yeah.
I'm like this, and then with other, like I would just kind of, I always wanted to fit in, so I would act how I felt was necessary and convenient in that moment.
So this version of you that we're getting is...
No, this is me,
Yeah.
but like this is not me.
This is a remix.
It's the present. In this moment, this is me for real. But from here, probably just gonna sit by myself and write stuff. This place is very inspiring, actually. I've gotten a lot of ideas. But I just used to do like plays back in high school, write scripts.
Okay,
Let me tell
okay.
you, I wrote a script that actually won.
All right,
I
Sharpie.
co-wrote. Yeah, but basically, my whole time in high school, I was in the school play. Had the lead role once. Yeah.
Big ups, my G. Give me some.
You know what you can give me?
What?
A role in a real
A role in there?
in a real movie.
For real?
Yeah.
You like to shoot a movie?
Yeah. I actually have a lot of stuff. I write a lot of short films, stuff that I just hide.
I might have something for you to feature in, actually.
Let's go.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Let's go.
So you've spoken about God a lot. I want to explore that relationship with God. When did you found it? Is it from childhood? Has it grown stronger through your adolescence? What would you say?
Okay, so I always thought I knew God. Growing up, my grandparents were very, I don't want to say religious, but they just had their own personal relationships with God.
I feel you.
And every Sunday, go to church, go to these other programs. And I never thought I would sin much. So I thought, yeah, I'm good. If God came today, like he's putting me on his back and we're going to heaven. But I grew up and wow.
Girl, you make me see now.
Wow. We're not done with that, are we? But anyway, I kind of grew up and I realized I was riding on their faith. And it was time for me to find mine and just like establish my own personal relationship with God away from the one that was to an extent imposed on me. So Yeah, I said that because sometimes I didn't want to go to church, but I know if I don't go, they'll beat me. I won't eat or something. Don't want that extreme. But it's just like you just know what's gotta be done, you know? So after a very difficult period in my life, I ran back to God because I realized there was nowhere else I could go. Not that it was the last option. There were very available options, actually. But I knew the only the only sure and permanent thing was God. Not that God is a thing. But yeah.
The prodigal daughter returns.
You know, back from nowhere.
And obviously God is featured in your works. So in your podcast you've spoken about God, right?
Yeah, a lot of the time. Almost all the time.
And in your poetry God features as well?
Yeah, almost all the time.
And so would you consider yourself a spiritual person or religious?
Spiritual. Yeah.
So you believe in the spiritual realm then?
God's spiritual realm. I think religion is like what? I just think when it comes to like spirituality and whatnot, there's a lot of stuff, I guess, people believe in. The universe, in animals, in themselves.
Reincarnation and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just like, that one true God to me. I really don't try to like belittle what any other person believes in. But to me it's just like God and my Bible. And yeah, I'm that girl.
Some people think Christianity is the only portal into the spiritual realm. I think I've grown to disagree with that.
You do?
Yeah, I don't think Christians are the only people privy to the spiritual realm. I think in many cases, a lot of other people, other faiths, grow closer to connectedness with that side of life than us Christians. I think we're big hypocrites, to be fair.
That's actually true.
No.
But I really just feel like that also depends on the person's level of belief, if I may, or faith.
True.
There are people who say they are Christians, but they are just very self-righteous. They just think maybe they want to be God. I don't know. But I've met people like that. And unfortunately, it paints that picture where even people who are not Christians per se, they say, you people just judge others. You just believe in your own stuff. You don't want to listen to what other people say. And it's sad because it's true, but I would tell you, if you want, just come to me. I will.
Okay. Learn my name.
I won't judge you, but I will listen.
Okay. And what about those little ones who are trying to find themselves? I know with the girls, they struggle these days, mental health. The world's moving very quickly, overload of information, and just different voices coming your way. How have you managed to navigate so far?
Well, I was actually a very confused person. I think I was drinking from so many cups. I didn't know which one was the perfect one for me. And I had to kind of just drink from my own cup.
Yeah.
But it's very confusing these days. I think even for like older people, even for me, there are times when I see so many things around me, I start to wonder and question if I'm on the right path or if I'm doing the right thing. But it has always been just knowing that which is right, genuinely right by me. And like I told you, as a believer, it has a lot to do with like morals and just listening to what God says I am away from everything else. Because there are times when I would want to do something, but it just doesn't align with what I believe in. And I just have to kind of draw myself back to that which I know is true to me.
That's a great end. Any advice to people who are struggling to find what's true to them? Girls particularly.
Yeah, baby, let me tell you.
Hey. Go for it.
I think the problem comes when you try to search within other people. Sometimes you want to do what the next person is doing, or you feel that's where you should be, but just identify. I think knowing yourself is the most important part, and that's difficult. You don't just wake up and you know who you are fully and truly, but just analyze your interests, analyze your environment, because unfortunately there are certain things you won't be able to have right now and accomplish and achieve, maybe because you're limited by something, but you can still build on that. So just look within you. Don't let anybody pressure you, my darling.
Hey, any shout outs?
Don't like, not saying don't take advice, but research. I think I used to do a lot of reading just to kind of understand what I could do as someone who has so many interests, and it got confusing sometimes. So just research, analyze, look deep within your heart, and just remember, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna work out at some point, hopefully soon. Yeah.
Lovely. Any shout outs?
Shout out to my mom.
Aww, sweet.
Shout out to you.
Appreciate you, man.
This is great. I think I'm like, if it was Facebook, I'd have a top fan badge. But you know how it goes. But just shout out to every single creative person. It gets tough, especially where we are. But shout out to, it feels like I'm in one of those Copala songs. Ela va se vente. Shout out to everybody I know and everybody who knows me. Yeah.
Lovely. We out. Did you? Come on, man.
Oh, swipe.
This hard. Press the button when. God. Introduce yourself, man. See what you did, bro.
You just said press record.
Oh, man. Okay. Click.
2 hours later.
And I'm on Culture Talk. What do I say?